Hello and welcome to the California Highway Patrol Academy. My name is Rex Sagle, and I'm here representing the New Mexico State Police, the New Mexico Mounted Patrol, and the New Mexico Law Enforcement Academy. A quick tour of this 245-acre facility will give you an idea of why the California Highway Patrol E.V.O, the Emergency Vehicle Operation Control Course, allows this fleet of almost 5,000 cars operating 24 hours a day to have one of the lowest accident ratios per million miles in the country. What you're seeing now is older vehicles that are used on the skid pad and are used as violator cars. That old DeSoto there has a spatial door that's hydraulically operated and can be put out in front of an automobile as it passes by, and if the officer hits it, it really doesn't make any difference. That door is indispensable and can be put. Another one can be put right on it. These were supposed to be temporary barracks, but as you can see, they're still standing. It houses the administrative and all the cadets, plus mechanics. They have 10 mechanics to keep up 10 cars. The vehicles used on this track, the wheel bearings are inspected every day, and an extremely strict maintenance program is performed on the training vehicles. They usually have 50,000 miles on them, are pulled out of service from the regular fleet and are installed with roll bars and reinforced wheels and spindles. Outside of that modification, they are stock. What you see now is the defensive driving course. 5 drivers go on the blue road, 5 drivers go on the red, and there are instructors committing violations. That was the acceleration ramp onto the high-speed course. The skid pad here is a 1/4 mile kidney-shaped facility with the best grade of asphalt that can be purchased. It is then sealed with jet seal oil, and then 50-weight Chevron oil is put on top. There is a sprinkling system, but they use an old 37 Dodge truck to water it down before the sprinklers are ever turned on. These vehicles on the skid pad are the same as the Class A vehicles being used, except they are higher mileage. They also have specially recapped tires with absolutely no tread, but they do soak up oil, so the longer you drive it, the slicker it gets. As you can see, speeds of about 20 to 25 miles an hour is absolutely the top speed anybody can attain with these type of tires on this facility. Notice all the counter steering that has to take place to keep a vehicle under control. And the longer you drive, the harder it is to control it. Just a little depression of the accelerator can cause the vehicle to spin out, as you can see. Or another way to do that, you just touch the emergency brake and the same kind of action will happen. Coming up, the instructors will be driving the course along with me, and we'll be chasing each other. And let me tell you, if anybody makes a mistake, there's usually an accident. Also, they will bring out an old Chevrolet with tire treads that they use to more or less fool the students, because they are almost all certain that they can catch anybody with this patrol car. And when this old vehicle gets out there with tire tread and passes them like they're sitting still, they get very upset. The secret to this facility is the top grade of asphalt they use and the maintenance of it. And it's very easy on the vehicle. The cars would last forever under this kind of operation. So the initial money they spent to purchase the best grade of asphalt and to maintain it is really saved in maintenance on the cars. Some of the skid pads that I've been on, you have to go so fast, then the rear end and everything is shaking because the cohesion of friction is so high. Now we'll get ready for our little chase scene here on the skid pad. Be sure to watch the way the old Chevrolet handles on this. That really shows you what good tires mean on slick surfaces. The driver is Officer Ed.Krewson, one of the E.V.O instructors. But it also proves that with the amount of practice, an accomplished driver can handle even one of these big vehicles on a slick road and not lose control. Even if you just seen Mr. John Malnor there in that long extended slide, yet he brought it back under control perfectly. Brakes are of absolutely no use on this track. You either have to be able to steer to miss or hit. There's no stopping. Now we're back on the defensive driving course. As I mentioned before, the red arrow on top, the blue arrow on the bottom, 5 vehicles are going in each direction with 3 officers committing violations. We're passing the stockpile of brand new 71 Dodges that are not in service. At this time, the California Highway Patrol puts 13 cars a day in service and takes 10 out. Of course, when they take it out, that means all the radios have to be removed and the decals inspected and painted, and the new cars have to have them installed. The average price for a used 69 California Highway Patrol is around $1,200, which is not a bad price for a police car with 75,000 miles. They do have one other place that they sell the vehicles, and that is Terminal Allen in Los Angeles. When a dealer bids on these vehicles, they must be delivered to Sacramento, and they order them all at one time. Only one bids per year. So it's quite a chore for a dealer to, usually about 22 to 2,300 cars are purchased each year. This is the off-road recovery section of the defensive driving course. Again, we're on the acceleration ramp that leads into the high-speed course. These Dodges with the equipped with such as they are here, reach a speed of just over 105 miles an hour before they hit the main part of the course. And the curve you're going around now is a 110 mile an hour turn, and they must be slowed down to about 70 to 75 on this flat turn. There's a set of S's that will be coming up. If they enter them at 80 miles an hour. That, of course, is maximum speed. The curve you're going around now is a reverse cambered curve that's about a 95 miles an hour curve. We're not going that fast right now, but if you were driving the course flat out, that's what you would be driving. You can see the over width 5-point harness that they use. The doors are strapped shut. They will not open. That is for added strength. Notice the position of the vehicle as it comes into this bank turn. The track is 40 feet wide in that curve. Come right into the apex and then right back out and get set up to go into the S's. You will see later that the back tires, when in the middle of those S's, are nothing but smoke. That takes the place actually of putting on the brakes. They do not have positive traction rear end. So when the car lifts, one wheel spins. Those are brave little squirrels crossing in front of you if you happen to see it. A couple of them didn't make it, needless to say. Here again, you enter high, go down low, and try to straighten the curve out, the S's out as much as possible. And you're back coming into the reverse cambered turn, which makes this curve very tricky, either clockwise or counterclockwise. The track is 1.7 of a mile in length, and it must be negotiated in 1 minute and 17 seconds by a cadet. Notice a 10-2 position on the wheel. We don't use that anymore. We use 9-3. Richard Petty has been successful with the 10-2 or 11-1, but he's an exception. We're going back by the brake testing area and the spectator area for that. There's always an emergency truck around when this driving is being performed. You can see how much room it takes to park 2,000 cars. Now, you will get a look as the officers and myself negotiate this track flat out. We're driving at about 1 minute and 5 seconds, coming into this turn right at 110 miles an hour. And notice that each vehicle, when it goes by the apex, is about in the same place. There's hardly 2 feet difference. That one was a little wider than the other one. He'll get that down. The Dodges being used here are actually quite a bit faster than previous years. Well, starting in '68, they started using the 440 Magnum, and the speeds have increased, and the suspension geometry was changed, and you can sure tell it. In this direction, clockwise, the speeds are down to about 95 miles an hour in this turn, way below, but the vehicle is not capable of accelerating from the flat turn to the bank turn any faster than that. It's just not far enough. The tires used are actually recap tires, and a spatial compound is used, and actually the cohesion is less than the officer would have with the same tire out in the field, and that is done purposely. You can see the sidewalls for a bias belted tire is extremely strong because the front end of these cars are very heavy, and they stand up in those turns extremely well. And they run 45 pounds of air in all the tires. That is Sergeant Bob Phillips. He initiated this emergency vehicle operation control course, was the author of the book The Driver, and extremely dedicated to this phase of training. It gives you an idea of how the doors are strapped shut, because one driver did jump out and leave the instructor there with no steering wheel, and this won't happen again. We're going to show you now what the vehicle looks from the outside in negotiating these S's. I'm getting a little warmed up here, and you can see coming off that S turn counterclockwise, the vehicle has a lot of roll because of the way the road is banked. This vehicle, number 3, John Malnor's driving, actually broke a wheel in a couple more laps. He sensed it and was able to get it under control and leave the track. But that again shows you how much stress there is on the vehicle in these turns. Entering speed is 80 miles an hour. Ed Vinns is driving number 7. You notice very little smoke came from the wheel, so he had let off on it. He sensed what had happened, and he's going to have to retire that vehicle and get a new rim. Running the track clockwise, you can't come in as fast, but you can pick it up going towards the flat turn. Entrance speed here is about 70 miles an hour to 72 miles an hour. Anything over that spells nothing but trouble. In this portion of the track, you can actually take a knife and just scrape the rubber off of the pavement. This Plymouth Superbird belongs to me, but Jack Cabela, the late Jack Cabela of Albuquerque, wanted it painted like a Dodge, and believe me, they put a transmission in there and painted it and lettered it in 6 hours. The terminal speed at the end of the acceleration ramp onto the track with this vehicle was 117 miles an hour, quite a bit faster than the patrol car because mainly it has 500 pounds less body weight, positive traction rear end, no air conditioning. It does have power steering. The suspension is stiff on that car, and we've been real proud of it so far. At this time, it's got 8,500 miles on it, and we did drive it out, and we actually was in the parade at Ontario Speedway. Sergeant Bob Phillips and John Malnor are in the vehicle, and Sergeant Phillips is driving. There's quite a difference in the amount of body roll with the Plymouth Superbird than the patrol car. It's quite a bit less. And you'll notice, even though the speeds are greater with the Plymouth, there was no smoke when you go through the S's, mainly because of the positive traction rear end and the wider tires. However, these tires would not work in pursuit. We had lots of trouble with these tires going home. So you can see in one lap there's quite a bit of difference between the vehicles, even though they do have the same engine. It's Sergeant Bob Phillips, John Malnor, and Jim Krewson.